Heyo there, it's Sven, and in today's video I'm going to be trying to answer the age-old question about atlatls. To fletch or not to fletch? Stick with me and I'll give you my opinions. Alrighty, hopefully you like that intro. If you don't, let me know. If you do, well, let me know. So let's get on with the video, shall we? So to start off, I'm going to be using two different atlatl spears and later three. I'll talk about why in a second. These two are made out of hardware store dowels. I want to make a video on how to make these soon. I just need to get a new bandsaw blade. But they're made out of hardware store dowels, so they should be basically the same. I've only modified them as much as I have to in order to make them function best for their particular style. That is, as you can see on my fletched atlatl spear, I don't have a point. On my unfletched atlatl spear, I do have a point. This is simply to add weight to make sure that it flies right. However, this spear is still over spined a little bit, so when I throw, it tends to nose up, I guess. And to compensate at the end, I'm going to be throwing with a bamboo spear that's perfectly spined for my atlatl here, which is just a plain and simple, nothing special ash atlatl with a reindeer antler horn or spur I made. If you're wondering why it's not colored like ash, it's because I put a varnish on it. And obviously, back to what I was saying, on the fletched atlatl, I had to edit it by adding fletchings. Duh. So a little overview of what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be talking a little bit about the benefits and downsides to both. I'm going to be throwing at a pizza box I have. I'm going to be doing 10 throws each. I've not yet used these atlatls very much, so it's going to be a good sort of blind test, I guess. So I'm going to be doing 10 throws each. I'm going to count my hits, I'm going to count my misses, and see which ones I hit with more. And I'm also going to be trying to throw for distance to see just how far I can throw. I'm going to be commenting on the stability and all that stuff. So stick around with me and hopefully you enjoy. Alrighty, so here we have the back of a fletched atlatl with two fletchings of turkey feather and some artificial sinew wrapped. It's not the greatest job, but it works. And here, well, we have a simple unfletched atlatl spear. So let's start off with, why would you want to fletch your atlatl spear? Well, the reason should be fairly obvious. When they're twisted, they add spin, which stabilizes it in flight and makes sure that you're going to be more pinpoint accurate in theory. That isn't to say you can't be pinpoint accurate with an unfletched atlatl spear, as you'll see in a bit, but you are generally speaking going to be more accurate with fletchings than without, if you're not used to throwing atlatls especially. The other reason is it stabilizes your throw right off the spear. So if you throw a little wonky and your point isn't, angled just right, these fletchings will act as training wheels to sort of stabilize your spear in order to bring it back on course. So they're really handy for that. Why might you not want to fletch your atlatl and just leave it bare like this? Well, one big reason is feathers are, well, they're abundant in nature, but they're really hard to get your hands on because birds are notoriously good at escaping. So you might not have feathers to fletch your atlatl with. Of course, you can use plant material like leaves. They'll work for a bit, but once they dry out, they're no longer good. Also, it just takes more time to put on the fletchings. And if you're not good at putting on fletchings, it can be pretty hard to be repeatable to make sure that all your spears throw in the same spot and don't fly like, oh, this one flies to the right, this one flies to the left, etc. So they're more complex. Also, you really don't have to, as you'll see in a bit here. Unfletched atlatl spears throw perfectly fine as long as you craft them right. So as long as you know what you're doing and you make sure you add a heavy tip, or heavier tip like here. And again, this isn't like a hunting tip or anything. I literally just threw this on as some weight with some duct tape. I'm going to be making a better tip later, but for now that works. And that's all you really need to make sure that these fly straight. At long distance, it will straighten out and throw just fine. At short distance, it'll straighten out and throw just fine. But I do think with the fletchings here, you can probably get better accuracy altogether. All right, so quick little recap. You get more stability and in theory, more accuracy with the fletchings, but it's harder to make. And in reality, unfletched doesn't actually make that much of a difference. So it's really up to you what you want to do. One thing that is important to note, that even though it is technically more difficult to make with the fletchings, when you make an unfletched one, ideally you want it to be tapered, or you want a pretty heavy head, because this is hardware store dowels. It's not tapered. However, if I just reach over here and grab this bamboo stalk that I've used, you can see it's pretty thick at the end, and this is unstraightened actually. It's pretty thick at the end, and it tapers down to a thinner point here. That taper is all this needs to fly completely and perfectly straight with no problems whatsoever. This one, because it's solid the whole way through, I actually had to add quite a bit of weight to the front in order to make sure it flies right and stabilizes out. With fletchings, that is much less of an issue because, well, the fletchings will take care of it. If you have a really light point, it doesn't matter because the fletchings will take over. So generally speaking, if you have just a solid uniform density and uniform thickness shaft, fletchings will help you a lot better. If you have a heavy point like steel or something, or maybe you just have a really big stone point, well, maybe you don't need the fletchings. It's not going to hurt to have the fletchings for the most part. I'll get into that more when I start throwing distance, but for the most part, it's not going to hurt to have the fletchings if you want. If you're using something like bamboo and it's already tapered, kind of like this one is, you probably don't need fletchings at all, and it'll probably work just fine. So I guess let's get into the throwing. Alrighty, so there's my pizza box. It's 10 strides away, 10 full steps away from this marker, and I'm gonna first throw with my unfletched shaft. Okay, throw number 2. Hit. Throw number 3, 2 hits so far. Another hit. I think this is throw number 5. Anyway, we've been all hits so far. Miss. Throw number 6. Perfect hit. Throw number 7. Right down the middle. Number 8. Missed to the left. Number 9. Hit. I think I actually hit my wallet, which is used as a weight. Update, yeah, I did hit my wallet. Luckily it was able to move quite a bit, but I put a big hole in it until it got stopped by some change. Oopsie. And number 10. Perfect hit. Unfortunately for me, I'm gonna need to finish this video at a different date because that throw that hit my wallet, which I was using to hold the pizza box, also hit my fletched spear apparently, and it hit it right there and cracked it. So I'm gonna need to glue this together again and wrap it and recut and do this joint maybe with a longer cut so it's not quite as weak. But for you it'll be an instant. Alrighty, so it's a few days later. Put on the same clothes for some continuity, but my fletched spear has been repaired. It should be good to go. And I went through the footage and found out that I was wrong. I didn't throw 10 shots, I threw 9 for the unfletched spear. So I'm gonna go ahead and take my last throw right now. Pizza, pizza. And it's a hit. So I think I missed 3 times. I'll go over the footage and check better later. But that's roughly a hit rate of 6 or 7 out of 10, somewhere around there. Now I'm going to throw with my fletch dart and see how I do. Okay, fletch spear, throw number 1. Hit. Throw number 2. Miss to the left. Throw number 3. Hit. Throw number 4. Miss to the left. Okay, throw number 5. 2 misses so far. Good hit. Throw number 6. Hit. Throw number 7. That was a hit. Throw 8. Ooh, low. Miss. I almost had a repeat of what happened before a few days ago. I almost hit this spear. Time to be careful about that. Throw number 9, I believe. Hopefully there won't be any more of that it was not thing coming up. Throw number 9. Good hit. Throw number 10. Good hit. Okay, so now I've moved to 20 paces away. I'm only going to be doing 5 throws each because this is farther than I'd ever like to hunt at. I'll start with the unfletched. It's a little over-spined, but hopefully I can make it work. That's 1, bad miss. Number 2, unfletched. Miss to the left. Number 3, unfletched. Again, got a crosswind. Hit. Number 4, unfletched. Well, wasn't so great. Throw 5, unfletched. Just underneath. All right, now the fletch spear, number 1. To the left. Number 2, fletched. Yeah, it bounced off the floor and hit. You do with that information what you will. Number 3, fletched. Hit. Number 4, fletched. I broke my spear again. So, in a big lapse of judgment, my fletch spear, I picked one that has this really wonky grain and a big old knot. And as you can see on that 4th throw, I had a particularly bad one and it hit funkily and broke my spear again. It's gonna be another instant for you, but that's gonna be at least a day or 2 for me. But I just picked a really bad dowel. throw number 5 coming up right now. So yeah, finally did another repair. This is just a reminder, use good quality dowels when you make these. Really check the grain, because some of these work perfectly and other ones, well, I guess the grain just isn't so great. Anyway, different atlatl because I misplaced my other one, but it's the same length, same basic style, so it shouldn't make much of a difference. Anyway, that being said, throw 5 fletched. So close. Okay, just for fun, I want to try 5 throws at 30 paces. As I said before, 20 paces is beyond my personal hunting range. I tend to only go from 10 paces or closer. So you best be hunting an elephant or something if you're shooting this far, or throwing this far. But let's just try. So, fletch spear, 30 paces, first throw. Very close. Very, very close. Just missed on the left, but still a miss. Unfletched spear. Way too high. And for the fun of it, I'm going to throw my bamboo one just because it's much better spine. Nope. Throw set 2. Hope this crosswind went away. Fletched. Right over the top, so very close. Unfletched. Way off. And again, for the fun of it, this one. Very close, but more off than I was with the fletch. Okay, throw set number 3, fletched. Oh, so close, just right under it. Unfletched. So close, just right over it. And again, for fun, bamboo. Horrible. That's all on me. Throw set number 4. Fletched. Dang you, crosswind. Oh, right to the left of it. Very, very close each time. Unfletched. Hit. There's the hit with the unfletched. And I guess I can still throw this one just for fun. Almost. Throw set number 5. Fletched. Big miss. Very close. Kind of almost. The bamboo spear isn't throwing so well just because it's so different than the other ones in weight and spine. Even though it's spined perfectly, it's just the weight is so different. So I'm just throwing it for fun here. But as you can see, despite the fact that I actually got a hit with the unfletched, I was much closer with the fletched each time, even though I missed every time. Okay, so now I'm going to be doing 5 long distance throws with all 3 of these spears, just to see which one goes the farthest on average. So I'll start out with my fletched spear. This isn't particularly for accuracy, this is just seeing distance. So fletched spear number 1. Unfletched spear number 1. And then bamboo unfletched, just for good measure. All right, let's go see the damage. So excuse the music, hopefully I don't get strikes for it. I can't help what other people are playing in their yards. The unfletched spear went literally the exact same distance as the fletched spear went the same distance as the unfletched spear. I'll pace this out at the end so I can tell you about how far. The bamboo unfletched, which throws great, went farther than both, right here. So, test number 1, and I'll pace it out. All right, so the fletched and the unfletched dowels went 60 paces, and the bamboo went 70. So let's try this again for throw set number 2, starting with the fletched. Hit, or touchdown, I guess. Unfletched. Touchdown. Unfletched bamboo, number 2. Touchdown. All right, I'll go pace it out. Okay, so fletched, 59 paces, 60, 61, 62 or 63 paces for the unfletched. Sorry for the plane. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So that would be 70, that'd be high 70s paces. Try again. Throw set number 3. As usual, I'll start with the fletched spear. By the way, there is a bit of a headwind. Okay. Now the unfletched dowel. And the unfletched bamboo that's well spined. Oh, that was my bad. It kind of came off the spear funky, but still go see. Here these two are: 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 65, maybe 66. And over here we have my bamboo, so 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78. 78, 79 or so on the bamboo spear. Even though I threw it wonky, it still stuck well. Okay, throw set number 4. All right, as usual, fletched spear first. I'm gonna give it all I got. Really good throw. Unfletched dowel, giving it all I got. Now unfletched bamboo, again, all I have. All right, time to go see how far that went. All right, so fletched, 66. I'd say maybe 1 or 2 more paces on the unfletched. These are hitting basically the same every time. And then the bamboo is another, let's see, 67, 68, 71, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9. 81, 2, 3, 4. Like 84 paces, give or take. So consistently, these seem to throw about the same. These two, the fletched and unfletched dowel, and the unfletched bamboo seems to throw the farthest. So I'll give one more throw set and see how that compares. All right, last set, set number 5, and we'll see how it goes. Touchdown. Weird form on that one. Touchdown. Touchdown. All right, let's go see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 42, 41, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 51, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 60. So 60 on this one. Then another 68, 2, 3, 63 on the unfletched owl. And then 63, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 71, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 80 paces here. So consistently it seems to be that. All right. So we are back at the house, and here we have the statistics. So as you can see on the top, we have the statistics for the unfletched spear. Below that is the fletched spear, and below that is just a bamboo spear for fun. I'll talk a little bit more on that in a bit. So at 10 paces, you can see I did hit more times with the unfletched spear. However, I think the distance or the hit rate is kind of marginal. I believe if I were to go out and do this test again, I would hit more with the fletched spear sometimes and then more with the unfletched spear other times. I really think it's a wash at 10 paces. At 20 paces, again, I hit basically about the same amount of times. Though I will say I believe the fletched spear hit more in the general vicinity more often. That's kind of biased because, as I said, my unfletched spear wasn't exactly spined right, so it flew a little bit funky. I do plan on remaking this video once I make one that is perfectly spined and isn't radically different. It's the only reason I didn't use the bamboo spear as the main tester in this video, even though it is perfectly spined. It's radically different in weight, and you get used to throwing with a certain weight and spine of atlatl, I guess. And when I'm throwing between the two, I don't think it's as fair to use the bamboo spear. And it's also harder because now I need to adjust my brain for a different weight spear every single time I throw. Anyway, so on that, I also feel it's more or less a wash. At the 30 pace mark, it's no surprise that I hit 0 times with a bamboo spear, as I just got through saying. It's spined completely differently. My muscle memory was not adapted for it. Were I to pick it up and use it solely again, then sure, I could be massively accurate with it. I just need to get my muscle memory back into that space, I guess. As for the main spears in this video, though, as you can see, I did hit once with the unfletched spear, and as I threw more with it, I sort of started to dial it in and was getting closer and closer and more repeatable at the 30 pace distance. However, it is undeniable that the fletched spear hit by the target far more often. What I missed with it, it wasn't quite as radical. Again, I do believe that's down to my unfletched spear being not super spined well. And as I said a bunch of times, I do plan on remaking this video once I make one that is properly spined, but for now this should work. But as you can see, the unfletched spear, or as you could see, the unfletched spear had a much straighter trajectory. I could throw more directly at the target. Even though it did pitch up a bit, which would help with that. Meanwhile, the fletched spear, I definitely had to go more on a parabolic arc. I had to throw it high, and so it falls down upon my target. Whether or not that will change once the spinage is better, I don't think so, because even with the bamboo spear, even though I was missing, I still just had to throw more or less in a straight line, just because it's not affected by the drag in the same way. As for distance throws, as you can see, the unfletched spear's average is slightly higher than the fletched spear. Going into this, I believed that the unfletched spear would knock the fletched spear out of the park when it comes to distance throwing. I did not expect them to be so on par with each other. And that's simply because fletchings create drag. So you would imagine as you throw, that drag slows it down and causes it to throw less far. That being said, it is entirely possible that the fletched spear, or the unfletched spear, created a lot of drag just in that it wasn't pointing straight, like a javelin or javelin, the entire time. Meanwhile, the bamboo spear was pointing straight, pinpoint arrow straight, the entire ballistic trajectory, simply because, as I said a million times, it's spined correctly. Which may be why it threw much farther. Though it could also be that the bamboo spear is lighter. It's hard to tell. Again, I'll make another video and be more specific and scientific in that one. But when it comes to just something scrapped together quickly, it seems like the fletchings didn't make much of a difference in this particular case. Alright, I am back in the house, as I said earlier when I just did that voiceover. So let me know what your opinions are when it comes to fletched or unfletched. Do you prefer a fletched spear? Do you prefer an unfletched spear? Have you compared the two? What were your results? And stick around for part 2 whenever I get around to it, where I make a better spined unfletched spear and do this whole experiment over again. And maybe my results will be different. But for now, I hope this was at least fun to watch. And my struggle throughout the days of trying to get that spear to not break on me were definitely real. So anyway, I'll catch y'all around for the next one. Hey, do.